Thank you all for being here today. Imagine for a moment vanishing from everything, your friends, social media, the daily routine, even from parts of yourself that no longer feel aligned. Imagine just disappearing. What do you think would happen? What might you lose? What might you gain? When you take time to truly disconnect and disappear from the world, even just temporarily, one of the most profound shifts that can happen is the rediscovery of who you are at your core. In our daily lives, we are constantly bombarded by external inputs, opinions, expectations, and pressures from friends, family, colleagues, and society at large. Social media in particular adds to this overwhelming mix by presenting an endless stream of curated images and success stories that often make us feel we need to act, look, or be a certain way to fit in or be accepted. Over time, it becomes easy to lose sight of who we are outside of these influences. When we decide to disappear for a while, we give ourselves a chance to peel back these layers and reveal our authentic selves, independent of external judgment. In solitude, you're left with your own thoughts, which might initially feel uncomfortable or even unnerving. The absence of distractions forces you to confront questions you may have been avoiding. What are your real priorities? What do you genuinely enjoy doing? Who are you when there is no one else around to judge, validate, or guide your actions? At first, these questions can feel challenging because it's common for our identities to become entangled with our social roles. We may think of ourselves as a friend, employee, partner, or parent, but when these labels are stripped away, who remains? In these quiet moments away from obligations and roles, you begin to connect with the person underneath the roles and labels. Spending time in solitude also reveals the ways in which we might have adopted beliefs, behaviors, and even dreams that aren't truly our own. Often we subconsciously absorb the opinions and ambitions of those around us, adapting our lives to fit into molds that were never meant for us. Disappearing allows you to step back and observe these inherited pieces of yourself from a new perspective, deciding which parts align with who you are and which ones you'd like to let go. This introspection can lead to profound clarity as you begin to sift through your life with greater awareness, understanding what's authentic versus what's performative or expected. The freedom that comes with solitude also gives you the space to rekindle old passions and explore new interests without judgment. You might return to something you loved doing as a child or try something new that has always intrigued you but felt out of reach. By allowing yourself the freedom to pursue these things without outside influence, you reconnect with what genuinely brings you joy. This is when a true sense of identity starts to emerge, a version of yourself that is connected to a deep sense of purpose and intrinsic motivation rather than external approval. In rediscovering your personal identity, you also cultivate self-acceptance and self-compassion. This is a journey toward appreciating the unique mix of quirks, dreams, and values that define you rather than comparing yourself to an external standard. It's about feeling whole and complete within, finding peace in who you are without the need to prove anything to others. The process of rediscovering your identity allows you to re-enter the world with a more solid foundation, knowing that your worth is not determined by how you fit into others' expectations, but by the authenticity with which you live your life. When you choose to step back from your regular interactions and disappear from your usual social circles, it creates a unique opportunity to observe which connections are truly meaningful and enduring. In our everyday lives, we often have a mix of relationships that range from deep and genuine to casual or even superficial. Taking a step away from these connections offers a way to see which relationships are strong enough to weather time and distance, and which ones might have been based on convenience or familiarity rather than true support and mutual respect. One of the first things you might notice when you disappear, even if just for a short while, is who reaches out and who doesn't. Genuine connections are characterized by people who will notice your absence and make an effort to check in, not because they want something from you, but because they care about your well-being. These are the people who don't need constant contact to remember your value in their lives. They're the ones who respect your need for space, understanding that sometimes solitude is necessary for personal growth. These friends and loved ones understand that their role isn't to intrude, but to offer support when you're ready to re-engage. On the other hand, disappearing can reveal the connections that were primarily circumstantial. Many relationships are maintained simply because they fit conveniently into our routines, such as acquaintances from work, social media contacts, or friends we only see in group settings. When you're no longer readily accessible, some of these relationships might fade, not out of malice, but because they were built on the dynamics of proximity and regularity rather than genuine affinity. Recognizing this can be enlightening, allowing you to see which relationships were sustained primarily by routine rather than deeper values or emotional investment. Another important realization that comes with disappearing is the way it highlights the quality of the connections you have, rather than just their quantity. Many of us are conditioned to value popularity or the number of friends we have, but when we take a break from social interaction, we often see that a few genuine connections hold far more value than a larger network of superficial relationships. Those who truly care about you won't measure their support by how often they're around, but by how sincerely they show up when it matters most. This clarity can be profoundly liberating because it helps you release any pressure to maintain relationships that don't nurture or resonate with your authentic self. Additionally, disappearing from social interactions allows you to assess how much of your energy and time were being spent on relationships that may not have been reciprocal or fulfilling. With this insight, you can return to your life with a stronger sense of boundaries, choosing to invest more fully in the connections that truly matter and reducing time spent on those that drain you or add little to your life. Ultimately, taking time away helps you foster relationships that are built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. You return with a new appreciation for those who genuinely care and a sharper awareness of who you want to keep close. This clarity on genuine connections empowers you to cultivate a social circle that uplifts and supports you, knowing that the people in your life value you for who you are, not for what you provide or how often you're around. When you take time to withdraw from the constant demands of social connections and the pressures of daily routines, one of the most profound benefits is the mental and emotional renewal that follows. In our fast-paced lives, we're often juggling multiple responsibilities, navigating complex social interactions, and dealing with an endless stream of information, which can be mentally and emotionally exhausting. Taking a break or disappearing for a while allows the mind to breathe and reset, leading to a deep sense of refreshment and renewed energy. Mental fatigue is a common struggle, especially with today's near constant access to technology and communication. We're rarely disconnected, constantly checking emails, responding to messages, or scrolling through social media. While these interactions can be fulfilling, they also take a toll on our mental resources. Our minds need quiet time to process thoughts, feelings, and experiences fully, but when we're always engaged, this crucial downtime is neglected. When you choose to step away, you allow your mind the space to rest, moving away from constant engagement and stimulation to a quieter state where clarity and calmness can emerge. This mental break can also reduce stress significantly. When we disappear, we distance ourselves from the stressors that might be draining us daily. Work pressure, social obligations, and even the small stresses of managing online communication can build up without us even realizing it. Taking time away from these stressors allows our nervous systems to calm down, resetting our stress levels and making it easier to approach our challenges with a clear mind. The space created by stepping away helps to diminish the background anxiety that can accumulate from being always on, restoring a sense of peace that's hard to achieve amidst daily demands. Emotionally, disappearing provides a chance to process feelings that might otherwise be suppressed or overlooked in the hustle of everyday life. Often we're so focused on getting through our to-do list and maintaining social appearances that we ignore our emotions. Stepping back allows us to confront any unresolved feelings and gives us the time to work through them with patience and self-compassion. This emotional processing is incredibly healing. It enables us to release pent-up feelings, let go of what no longer serves us, and reconnect with our inner selves in a way that feels nurturing and restorative. Beyond this healing aspect, the renewal that comes from disappearing also enables us to return to our lives with greater emotional resilience. Once we've allowed ourselves a period of rest, we're better equipped to face challenges with a fresh perspective. We're less reactive, more balanced, and more in tune with what truly matters to us. This renewal helps us recognize our emotional limits and gives us a clearer sense of when we need to step back in the future, creating healthier cycles of engagement and rest. Taking a break from daily routines and disappearing for a time can lead to a significant boost in creativity and open doors to fresh perspectives. In our regular lives, we often fall into familiar patterns and routines that, while comfortable, can limit our ability to think creatively or see things in new ways. Stepping away from the usual flow allows us to break these habits and encourages our minds to think more expansively, creating room for fresh ideas, inspirations, and perspectives that might not emerge in a cluttered or overstimulated environment. One reason disappearing can enhance creativity is because it interrupts the constant input of external information that can overwhelm our minds. In a world where we're perpetually exposed to news, social media, and work demands, our brains are constantly processing information. This endless influx can leave little room for original ideas to surface because we're always reacting to external stimuli. When we remove ourselves from these influences, however, we give our brains the chance to wander freely. In the quiet and calm of solitude, the mind is better able to enter a state of flow, the relaxed, focused mental state where creativity often flourishes. This state encourages a natural, unforced stream of thoughts and ideas that arise without the interference of outside opinions or distractions. Time away also allows the brain to make connections between seemingly unrelated concepts, leading to the hey moments that are often at the heart of creative breakthroughs. Research has shown that creativity thrives when the brain has the freedom to rest, daydream, and reflect. When we disappear, we may find ourselves engaging in activities that let our minds relax, like taking a walk in nature, journaling, or simply sitting in silence. These moments of calm give the mind space to process, reflect, and connect ideas in ways that are difficult when we're constantly busy. It's often in these quiet moments that creative ideas or solutions to problems naturally emerge, seemingly out of nowhere. Disappearing can also broaden our perspectives, encouraging us to think beyond our usual boundaries. When we step away from our regular environments and routines, we begin to see things with a fresh outlook. This might mean physically going to a new place or simply spending time in solitude, both of which can lead to a shift in how we view the world. By breaking out of the familiar, we're more likely to question assumptions we may have taken for granted, allowing us to approach challenges or ideas from new angles. This broadening of perspective is crucial for creativity, as it pushes us to explore possibilities that might have seemed impossible or irrelevant within the constraints of our regular thought patterns. Additionally, the solitude that comes from disappearing helps foster a deeper connection with our inner selves. In the quiet, we become more aware of our own thoughts, feelings, and desires rather than being influenced by external expectations. This reconnection with ourselves often brings clarity to what genuinely excites and inspires us, as opposed to what we think we should be interested in. By focusing on what truly resonates with us, we tap into a more authentic form of creativity that is deeply personal and often more fulfilling. Moreover, time away allows us to experiment without fear of judgment or immediate feedback, which can be stifling to creativity. When we're constantly engaging with others or receiving feedback on our work, we may inadvertently censor our ideas to align with others' expectations. In solitude, however, we're free to explore without limitations. This freedom encourages experimentation, leading to unique ideas or perspectives that might not surface when we're overly concerned with fitting in or seeking approval. In the end, disappearing not only rejuvenates the mind, but also allows us to return with a toolkit of new ideas and perspectives that enhance our creativity. We come back refreshed with a mind that is open, flexible, and ready to approach life with a sense of curiosity and wonder. The ideas generated during this period of retreat can serve as powerful catalysts for personal projects, creative pursuits, and problem solving in all areas of life. By periodically stepping away, we maintain a wellspring of creativity and innovation that keeps us engaged, inspired, and eager to bring new visions to life. Taking a break from the constant demands of productivity can lead to a profound realization our worth is not defined by what we produce or accomplish. In modern society, there is a strong emphasis on productivity, often linking personal value to what we achieve. Many of us internalize this message from a young age, learning that praise and validation often come when we are busy, successful, or achieving visible results. Over time, this can lead to an identity rooted in our accomplishments and output. When we choose to step back and disappear from these expectations, however, we give ourselves a chance to see that our intrinsic worth goes far beyond our productivity. By disconnecting from the pressure to always be doing, we create the space to connect with who we are at a fundamental level, independent of our work or accomplishments. In moments of solitude, free from the usual routines, we have the opportunity to reflect on our true essence. We are able to see ourselves not as a worker, student, or provider, but as a person with inherent qualities, experiences, and values that exist outside any productivity-related label. This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating, as it allows us to appreciate the person we are at our core. Taking a break from productivity also helps us recognize the ways in which constantly working or striving can mask our authentic needs and desires. When we are perpetually in do mode, we often neglect our emotional well-being, sidelining self-care in favor of checking off tasks. In solitude, we start to notice these patterns and understand that productivity can sometimes be a coping mechanism, one that distracts us from addressing deeper issues or from simply enjoying life without an agenda. This awareness encourages a gentler, more compassionate relationship with ourselves, where we value rest and relaxation as essential, not indulgent. Another powerful outcome of stepping away is realizing that self-worth is rooted in simply being. It's about understanding that every person has intrinsic value, regardless of what they produce or contribute. This realization fosters a sense of self-respect that isn't conditional on meeting goals, performing well, or receiving validation. In this quiet space, we begin to see that our happiness and self-worth don't depend on outside accomplishments, but are cultivated within. We realize that our worth doesn't fluctuate with our productivity levels, it's constant. Taking time away can also shift our relationships with others. When we are less focused on proving ourselves or seeking validation through productivity, we begin to engage more authentically with others. We connect from a place of genuine presence rather than accomplishment, which often deepens relationships and encourages mutual respect. This newfound clarity and self-worth allows us to set boundaries more easily, choosing activities and relationships that nurture us rather than drain us. We learn to say no to tasks or obligations that don't align with our well-being, valuing our peace and self-respect over the need to be constantly active. This time away also nurtures a healthier approach to work and achievements. When we return, we often find ourselves approaching productivity with a balanced mindset, where work is just one part of a fulfilling life rather than its sole focus. Our identity is no longer tied to how much we do or achieve, and we're better able to pursue meaningful goals without compromising our well-being. We feel more at peace with the natural rhythms of life, where rest and reflection are as valuable as action and progress. Ultimately, realizing our self-worth beyond productivity brings a deeper sense of fulfillment and peace. This renewed understanding allows us to live authentically, finding joy in both our efforts and our moments of rest. We stop viewing downtime as a waste and start seeing it as a crucial part of a balanced, joyful life. This internal shift empowers us to live with greater authenticity, knowing that our true value comes from within, from the unique qualities we bring to the world simply by being ourselves. This awareness becomes a powerful foundation for a life rooted in self-respect, resilience, and genuine fulfillment, allowing us to thrive regardless of external accomplishments.